mattressfam.news.
The pitfalls of reinventing your business to move from mattress store to sleep and wellness. Hey, it's not as easy as you think. The dynamic CEO of a 13-store South Texas Mattress Firm Franchise is here, and the show begins right now. Hey, are you a mattress retailer looking to supercharge your business? Introducing Podium, your secret weapon. I use it, I'm a huge fan of it, and with Podium's AI-powered lead conversion, you can engage with customers in seconds via text, making it feel like they're talking to a friend. But hey, that's just the beginning. Podium offers texting, payments, reviews, website chat, and more, all in one place. You've got to be the most responsive retailer to help customers solve those sleep problems in the moment. Harness the power of Podium today and start growing your business. Visit podium.com right now to learn more.
Welcome to the FAM Podcast with Mark Kinsley. This is where the best in the bedding business get even better.
Everything changes. I mean, everything. Merchandising, ordering, inventory, display, the process of picking a mattress, all of it changes. And my friend James Perez, you have been on a journey that started more than 2 years ago. We're going to peel back the covers on your story. And we're going to find out, where is the strangest place James Perez has ever slept? Okay, before we get to the 2-year journey to reinvent your business, here's where I want to start. I want to start with you. You've put your business first and you saved your health journey until now. And we're going to get to the business piece of it, but I want to start right here with you. Tell me about your health. Tell me about your sleep. Tell me about this journey you're on.
I'm in a really cool journey right now. At the end of this month, I'll be hitting double nickels, 55.
Yeah, baby.
Perez, going back to Sammy Hager, 55 cents lives, or you can't drive 55. But it's really cool because it's landing on the last piece of my puzzle that I've been working on for going on 3 years. And it's really exciting because it's finally, I'm going to be able to wear the badge I should have always worn. And that's a sleep expert. And I woke up one day and realized I was just a mattress salesman. It wasn't fulfilling.
What is that? What's it like when you had that moment of recognition?
It was sobering. At first, I thought I lost what I loved the most, what I've known my entire life. And then I was given an amazing revelation. God just said, you're only crying about 20% of this whole full meal deal, buddy. Let me show you the entire 80 that you don't even see. And it opened my eyes. I was so clouded with that beautiful rectangle, I couldn't see the beauty and the blessings all around it. And that was what I call today sleep. So I'm moving firmly out of the mattress store business, want nothing to do with it anymore, and firmly implanting into the sleep business where I should have been all along. I didn't know any better. I do now though, and now that I know, I can't go back. I know the truth.
Once you have that knowledge, yeah, you have to do something with it. Let's get into that for a minute, because you had this moment of recognition. Like you said, you woke up and you realized where you needed to be. And there's a lot to unpack with what you just said, because you said the white rectangle, that beautiful, wonderful mattress that we all love, is only 20%. We're going to talk about the other 80%, but I want you to take us into your culture within your company, because anytime you try to shift, I think as business owners, away from what you think you are and what you hope you are, into something that's more visionary and that seems removed from everything we've learned about the business we're in, that's not an easy putt. I mean, that takes time. What has that been like? Have there been pitfalls? Has there been pain?
Absolutely. I'll just start off by saying change is the hardest thing for most people. The great thing about my mattress firm culture, or being the oldest mattress firm guy out there, is that we started with the idea of change and not being scared for change to do things that were not normal. But it's easier said than done, because before you can cast off any dream, if you don't have the belief in your people, your culture, your core, it's not getting off the ground. It'll get off and come right back down. And in the words of Paul Stork, I have to inspect what I inspect all the time. And then I just came back from that. And the wonderful thing is, I'm now at the place where I built the influencers inside my culture that are increasing where it needs to be. I'm about 65% there. The store and its design of where we're moving to is about 70% there. So it's moving the way it should. But that's the part that you got to have patience, and you can't get frustrated, because you're moving someone's mind from believing that the mattress was 90 to sometimes 100% of the entire sleep equation. And we're moving them now to a place of 20% to understand that it's 20% of the sleep equation. So right off the bat, that's the elephant in the room. And that's where I've taken my time and I've been creative in doing that. And I'm been moving the needle, because now they're starting to understand it. They're seeing it. And the articulation that they're being able to give the consumer is totally appreciated, because it makes sense. There's no way I could tell you that this one rectangle can solve all your problems. And for me to say that is crazy. And for you to believe that, I don't want to say it's crazy. I'm just saying we were real good at preaching that message.
So what are you saying now? I mean, when you have a consumer walk in and you take them through what you now believe and what your people believe, what are those other pieces of the puzzle that lead to better sleep, or other pieces of the sleep products equation?
Well, let me, I like to break things down third grade students. It's just real easy to see it that way. I break it down in two ways. One is through a hamburger meal. My favorite is the number one at Whataburger. I can tell you exactly what it is. And the other is building a bear, if you will, to build a bear store. And all of these things, the patty and the bear, are the base, but it's not the full meal deal. And it's easy to understand that patty, that mattress, is 20% of that. Everything that goes underneath it, down to the buns and the lettuce and all those. Well, with us, the box spring, all the way down to the adjustability, or old rusty with no center support, or platform frame, everything, every consideration, that's 20%. The pillow, it's just a smaller rectangle. It's a bed for the head. That's 20%. Every one of us have different shoulder depths. That is a very important part of the piece. And then the part that we hadn't talked about, that this is the one that's blowing my mind, is where really one of the big doors opened up for me, was in the textiles, in the amazing textiles. And I can sell you a cooling technology mattress that you invest your hard-earned money on. You leave my store with my little gift certificate to go down the street and go spend money on the wrong sheets to negate that technology. I mean, what did I do for you? And I have dealt with that for year after. That's insanity. I've done that year after year after year after year. And I doubled down. There's a mattress. Let's get another one. No, that piece that happened between leaving the store, going somewhere else. And here's the other thing. I'm describing a transaction and a customer. If this was truly done right, this would be a journey and a clientele, because I wouldn't let you leave and make those mistakes. I would have those answers for you here. So the end result is exactly what you and I both talked about. It doesn't end and stop with just the naked bear. If you wanted it to look like a fireman, it's going to have all of his get up. If you want the full meal deal, and that full meal deal, it's the patty, it's the lettuce, tomatoes, the cheese, the buns, it's the fries, the drink, and do not forget the hot apple pie, man. And we've been happy just slinging patties. And I'm talking about me. and so when I woke up and I looked at that, I thought, wow, I fell very short. Now we gradually grew as an industry. We did masterfully at the mattress, and I think we did masterfully at the pillow. I think we did amazing with the adjustable bases. You can see that and in the interest. But that's 60%. We absolutely fell short on the other 20 and the other 40. The last 20 is the most exciting to me. But the 20 of the textiles, all of those textiles, we just went blind on those. And that was always such an intricate part of finishing off the sleep. We fell short. Not all fell short.
Talk about what you've done in your store, because I know that you've reframed that experience of interacting with the textiles and pillows and those other 20% pieces that you mentioned.
So at Moore Plaza, that's where the clay is at about 70%. Where that's the one we're still, as we do this, then we feel comfortable to go and start replicating that throughout the stores. So at Moore Plaza, we're at 1.0 with the sheet experience, if you will, the textile experience, which is pretty awesome. But we are now here real soon moving into 2.0, the full package of understanding that we're partnering with Pure Care, Dr. Wheel. We're going to do some amazing things that when you come into the store, you'll understand that, I pick my mattress, I make the consideration on the bottom. I pick the right pillow. That the store should dictate that process, not necessarily, back to the way I used to have it. My process was putting you in a process to pick the right one mattress. This process today is about, completing every bedroom to the experience that you should have. And it can be different experiences, not one brand in every room. You can have whatever experience you want. But that last 20 is what I'm real excited about. The last 20. That's me. The last 20 is me. And that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, you talk about the burger, let's save that analogy, because here in a minute, you got to start eating your own cooking, which is, if you're going to be a sleep shop and focused on that wellness piece, then the people have to be true believers. We actually had an article up on the FAM about true believers. But before we go away from this burger analogy, all right, we're thinking, well, man, I'm getting hungry now. Before we go away from this burger analogy, it really is a perfect way to think about it for me, talking about making it really basic to understand. If you eat a bunch of hamburgers that don't have, your mustard, your ketchup, your pickle, your onion, or however you like it. I love a toasted bun, man. You eat quality ingredients, good bread, good beef. Those good ingredients going into it matter as well. But if you start leaving out those other condiments and the accessories and the pillows, people naturally and intuitively understand this. If I just slept on my mattress without sheets, would that be comfortable to me? Would that be the best experience? If I left my pillow out every once in a while, would that be acceptable? Certainly not. So intuitively we know it, but the way that people process putting that collection of goods together is never going to happen to the best of its ability, in my opinion, unless you have somebody that understands it and builds value in it and helps people connect the dots through the whole sleep system.
Yep. And that's how you grow the clientele. We become that person that helps you obtain the very best night's sleep that you can achieve. So it is a journey, because in that last 20%, there's specialty products, not just, there's diets and what I got to eat as a 55-year-old guy that's gonna, I got to be conscious of my metabolism, and I got to build muscle. I mean, if you take just type 2 diabetics, if you want to take sugar out of their body, start building muscle. There's little things that we can all do. So that last 20 is really tying in the wellness, the health. That's me saying, I really do care. I care about you being healthy, and I'm at a place that can do it. Not just to sell a rectangle. I'm not selling commodities. I mean, that's boring. I want to mean something to you. I want you to look at me fondly, like you see that one doctor or chiropractor you like, or whoever, when you go out to dinner. That guy means something to my health. There's a difference. Total difference in a mattress salesman. I don't want to be there no more. I'm shedding my skin.
Shed my skin. I like it. take me into that real quickly. I mean, I've talked in the past a lot about this idea that whenever people come in to buy a mattress, many times they're going through some sort of transition, and transitions represent uncertainty. Uncertainty is fear. Fear means I want an assurance of an outcome. Whenever you have that opportunity, maybe it's once every 7, 8 years to talk to somebody about their health and wellness, about their sleep, that should be an incredibly important conversation. Now, how do you take that from this is a transaction to I can help with transformation? How do you make them a client like you talked about?
Mark, you're hitting it right on the head. A mattress salesman is scared to ask, how did you sleep last night? Because he's scared he's going to get blamed for it. But a sleep professional, a sleep expert, I want to know because I can help. Let's figure it out. Let's see your routine. What did you eat last night? Let's narrow it down. Let's figure it out. So I'm putting myself in through that. I'm gonna wear a little ring. I hired me a coach that's gonna teach me how to eat, to push me to build the muscle. I gotta walk the talk. In that last 20%, I'm 55. Surely I can do it. And I got to give you a lot of props. At the Sleep Summit, when you did the bike ride, at first, I was intimidated. I was like, I ain't ridden a bike in what, man? And, and we did that yoga, that hiking. When I started stretching my body was screaming. And I was thinking, and keep in mind, I've been physical in my life, very physical. And a lot of us that are running companies, the more we do up here, we think we're being physical, but the moment we jump onto that deer blind and our legs don't hold us and we fall to the ground, we realize, whoa, you haven't been physical. So that's the part I'm excited with. I'm going to be joining, what a way to be engaged right now in my company. There's people that come to work with their little bag of meals. My son is one of them too. We get a box that comes in with a little, they're already frozen or whatever, and he sticks them. They look like pizza boxes in my refrigerator, and they're meal preps. They're eating the right, whatever protein, complex carb, all the stuff they need, and their workout so I'm now going to start to join that, and what a great time at my age, but to tie it into the biggest love of my life, which was that rectangle. I knew it was better than just that. And so in order to take it there, I'm going to become one of the influencers. I have to. And that's why when you put together the Sleep Summit and you started drawing us together, that's what excited me. I could see myself grow into being that influencer, and I imagined that at Sleep Summit. I give you props for that big time. That's where I got the idea to come back and go, I need to do something.
That you weren't the only person. That's a takeaway that is really starting to hit me now. And for people not familiar, we have an invitation only event, and we're going to be doing larger events. So make sure you're subscribed to the fam.news newsletter. Just go to fam.news, you can subscribe, something will pop up for you. But we had 30 people get together. And I remember Jeff Veach from Culp walked away and he ended up losing 14 pounds. And he was already pretty fit, but he wanted to take it to the next level. He wanted to sharpen that iron, and together the iron sharpened the iron. And I can't tell you how many people did something that was unexpected or new for them, something they may not have ever done, that woke them up in a way and said, hold on a second, there's something here that my body's telling me, no, I should be able to do this. And as we know, especially after COVID, your health is everything. If you don't have it, you have nothing. You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the friends in the world, all the success in the world. But when your health deteriorates, everything goes downhill. And I tell people, look at it through the vehicle of your sleep. Analyze your health and wellness through your sleep. If you're not sleeping well, that is the foundation of nutrition. Your body doesn't produce ghrelin and leptin. If you miss your window of bedtime, your body doesn't produce HGH. It misses its entire window. That's your muscle building. And then on top of that, that's all mapping back to sleep. You crave those sugary foods whenever you don't get a good night's sleep because of everything that's going on from a hormonal perspective. So now your nutrition is suffering, your fitness is suffering. You're foggy and cloudy, and it's right there. It's the foundation of health and wellness. And James, I have to challenge our industry a little bit, because another insight I got from Sleep Summit, the event, was whenever Mike Magnuson from goodbed.com said, I don't know that consumers trust us to help them get a better night's sleep. He goes, if I go into Dick's Sporting Goods to get a set of dumbbells, do I trust the person there to write up my fitness plan for the year? How do we overcome that and actually gain the credibility so that clients and consumers will look at us as experts, or at least look at us and give us the keys to the car to say, drive me to the right places and show me how to do this?
Well, that's where I'm at. The gentleman I hired, Robert Short, uh, is doing exactly that. And what attracted me to him was his emphasis on sleep. What you said, he said. You know, that's a giant measurement. And that's the business that I'm in. And that's something that I never even looked at. I can tell you how many mattresses I sold, but I can't tell you how many people I took to that place of healthy night's sleep. And that's the part I'm investing in right now. So in order to do that, I have to learn. So James, with the passion and energy that he had in that beautiful rectangle, he's putting it into sleep, and he's using himself. So I'm gonna be doing that, and not just me. I'm getting other people to want to join as well. But what I was going to say is, I'm fortunate that I have some in the company already doing that, and I admire the the commitment that they have to their workout, and you can see it. You can see it in their bodies, and so that so a guy my age that already has the issues of all of I couldn't be a better test subject, is what I'm saying. The way that that I have lived, or the way that I haven't slept, or the way I haven't paid attention to my diet, I can only make positive gains. So I make myself a great guinea pig, because it's going to be easy to show easy positive gains. Like my son said, Dad, it's easy. We're going to go put weight on you. You're not going from a big size coming down. So I have some good elements to work with. So I'm going to take James through that process to learn to be able to talk very effectively with data, and study. That last 20% means I need to learn. I need to learn as much as I can. I already know, as a type 2 diabetic, the importance of the right foods, the wrong foods. Anything you can turn into alcohol turns into sugar. I know my little methods of how to understand foods today, but uh, imagine today our category making a difference, to where we do grab that trust, where we're asking, because I agree, we're not there. A mattress store is not there with the trust. No, absolutely not. But this place that I'm talking about, it is. And when that happens, that's the day clientele. You have clientele. That's the pudding. I mean, that's the pudding, enough to where a family member would say, you don't go anywhere else but there. That's the trust. And
It reminds me of an article that we put together that was about Top Gun, the Maverick, the latest version, right? So
love that movie.
love that movie. Such a great movie. The opening scene's great, right? I was thinking about that the other day when he was flying, what did he go, Mach 10 or whatever it was, but that was a beautiful scene. But I remember one of the lessons that I picked up from that actually Harry Roberts pointed out, I don't think it made it into that article, was you as the leader have to fly the mission to show your team it can be done.
Yeah.
And I see you doing that. You are flying this mission. You are being your own first test subject. You are going through the process of making yourself as healthy as you can be, investing in your sleep, making sure that your sleep is something that becomes a priority. You're flying the mission.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You nailed it. You nailed it. And you know, you mentioned Harry Roberts. These are giants. In my world. When I think of Paul Stork, you heard me mention Paul earlier. Paul, Harry, and Steve. You know, absolute giants in how I look at them. And um, I've never put myself there, but in my little company, my people do. So when they see us do that, the power of that, the you know, I'm an old, I'm an Army veteran. My partner, Marine veteran, will tell you, our platoon leader or our drill sergeant or the guy in front, he'd show you real quick, without a blink of an eye, how to get it done. If you even doubt that could be done, and that's the last thing you wanted to do is watch him do that. After he told you to do that, but the power of watching your leader do what you thought couldn't be done. He just told you what had to be done and gave you that vision. But to watch him do it, the power that you could jump a mountain with the power that gets put inside of you, the passion that gets put back inside of your culture and your team members. So you hit it right on the head. I couldn't say it any better than that. That's what we're doing. Mike and I, both, we said we have to be the example. We sat down, we looked at each other, and we said, we're ready to do this. And he goes, yeah. I said, that means we're on spot. Spotlight's on us. So yeah, some big things. When my team sees James drop the cigarette, when they see some things they hadn't seen before, the power, they get emboldened with power. They believe it and they start walking firmly in that same path. But in order to get in health and wellness, we're going to leave a lot of stuff behind.
And one of the questions I had coming in is, how do you change culture? Because, in the book I wrote, Come Back to Bed, with that section on branding, it was, if you want to develop a brand, then you're going to have to develop a brand that your people can pay off. You can't have, hey, we're Apple, and you got ketchup stains on your khakis, your pleated khakis, right? So I was going to ask you early on, the thought about, how do you actually change a culture? How do you create a culture that shifts from one mentality to another? And I think you answered a big piece of that question, which is, I have to be the example. Are there other pieces of shifting a culture that you've noticed? Because it's been a multi-year process and you're still in it.
Yeah. We started early on. When I said, it's been 3 years, we were able to deliver them some things that you know, we believe were never possible. So they've already been the recipient of some of these thoughts. One of them that I'm talking about specifically is work-life balance. In South Texas, we made a firm decision 3 years ago. We're going over 3 years now. We close at 7:00, not 8. We close at 7. Even holiday, we don't extend the hour. 7:00, very important for them to go home and have dinner with the sun still out with their family. And I cannot tell you the power and the trust that has come back from our culture from that. But as we started doing that, this is where we started unfolding the dream that we were leaving the mattress store business and we were moving in firmly into the sleep business and what that meant. So I kind of went out preaching the message before any of this went out. I went out and I started playing and having, questions, and I would ask them how much of the mattress did they believe in a percentage was responsible for the undisturbed, complete night's sleep. I was very specific in my words, and that's where I started uncovering, 90s, 75s, and 80s. And so through the conversation, if you will, I started doing real unique, we'd go to lunch and I'd use the yellow, pink, blue, white packets of the sugar to break out my 5 areas of 20% to talk. And it was amazing how that picture started to develop as we started setting up the displays of the sheets to set up the very first ones. We started moving, and as it started to move, so it's been slow. But the managing of the games, if you will, great book out there, The Games That People Play, We Just Manage Them. And it's so true because the guys that are living at the 90 don't want this to take off because the world is so easy the way it is, so in the rectangle. So it's been challenging, but it's been fun. At the end of the day, my dad told me a long time ago, and this is what makes it really interesting. He said, James, don't ever bullshit a bullshitter. Don't ever try to, don't let a salesman sell a salesman. It's just a horrible day when that happens. So I already know that. So going into some of these guys have been with me 13, I can't come to them with an Alice in Wonderland story. It's got to be real. It's got to be direct. So I in the articulation, third grade simple is how it all started. It started with conversation, started with vision. Now we're on 1.0 and we're moving into 2.0. And I'm telling you that I'm at about 65% there and still more. So right now I can tell you, I'm fully confident we're going to be there. And what we're going through is natural evolution, natural leaving a place that we knew and loved and was so comfortable and knew it with our eyes closed to a new place that we're learning. And at the end of the day, I think the part that they're going to enjoy the most is they can truly now say for the first time in their lives, all of us, I'm a sleep expert. I am. I truly am. And before, people called me a sleep expert, or maybe I did, or whoever else did. I was just really a mattress, pillow, and a bottom sales guy. That's about all I did. I was doing 60% of the equation. I fell short. So now it's fulfilling. I mean, if you take it all the way and it's understood, that place should be fulfilling. And the size of our brick and mortar is a perfect size for them. I don't want to be a grocery store. I don't.
It takes a lot of guts and a lot of eating a piece of humble pie to sit here and say, no, I called myself that and I wasn't. Our people, we said this about ourselves and it wasn't true. And gosh, what a great lesson for all of us to look in the mirror and really see what's there and to look at our blind spots and try to get perspective to fill them in. I think what you've done is a very difficult thing for a lot of people. And I send a lot of gratitude your way on behalf of how I think about the industry. And at the end of the day, like you said, 7:00 and investing in health. I mean, you're looking at the holistic picture of what it takes to be somebody who is healthy and somebody who is well. And I think that ripple effect is going to be huge. And as I think about your journey as a sleep expert, the journey for the people that are with you, I think about our Sleep Summit quiz question. I mean, why not drop some knowledge on us today? But hey, before we get to that, the people want to know, where is the strangest place James Perez has ever slept?
Well, Fort Hood, Texas, on top of our topographic van, North Fort Hood, Texas, on the very top. So it's an 18-wheeler, and on the top of it, with helicopters doing maneuvers over us. And that's what we slept on. Hot Fort Hood, Texas. Well, it's not Fort Hood anymore. It's rechanged. It's now General Colossus. But on top of 18-wheeler at North Fort Hood, Texas, underneath Black Hawk choppers, during maneuvers in my Army Reserve at Fort Hood.
Somehow you found a way to sleep through that.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing ever. It's the coolest thing ever. But, talking about, how every layer is important, I was sleeping good. I had one little foam layer in my sleeping bag on top of that metal. And just those two layers were the difference of a comfortable, nice rest versus somebody down on the ground. I had it better. That's why I was actually up there, because I didn't have to be on the dirt and ground. I was off the dirt because there's a lot of brown recluse, a lot of scorpions. And so way up there with the choppers flying, it blows everything off the top. So I had like my own ceiling fan and wasn't on the dirt.
That is genius. No,
Yeah.
you really are a sleep genius.
Yeah, I was even into sleep then.
All right, let's learn something here. Let's go back to our Sleep Summit quiz question. Okay, I'm going to have you fill it in for me and make a guess. And as you're listening along, you make your guess with us here. So viewing bright sunlight within 30 to 60 minutes after waking triggers a blank increase early in the day, which is when you want it to peak, and sets your body for sleep later that night. What does being out in the sunlight trigger in your body?
Melatonin.
It actually, I'm gonna give you a little a gimme on this because it does actually set your melatonin for later in the day. But in this instance, being out in the sunlight about 30 to 60 minutes after waking up triggers cortisol
Cortisol.
early in the day when you want it to peak. Now, look, let's give cortisol a moment here because I think cortisol gets a bad rap because a lot of people associate it as a stress hormone. But there's a little bit of science here. So cortisol does other things as well. It regulates your metabolism. So cortisol helps control how your body uses fat, proteins, and carbohydrates for energy. Cortisol can also suppress inflammation. So in short little spurts, cortisol can boost your immunity by limiting inflammation. But if you have consistently high levels of cortisol, then your body can get used to having too much in your bloodstream, which can lead to inflammation and a weakened immune system. So that sunlight gives you a little short burst of it, which is a good thing. But in too much of a stressful situation, that's when cortisol can be a bad thing. You get too much of it. It also can regulate your blood pressure. So the exact way, they're not exactly sure, but elevated levels of cortisol can cause high blood pressure. And lower than normal levels can cause low blood pressure, but so you want the right amount. And last but not least, I mean, and there's a bunch of other stuff here, so I'm giving you a few highlights, but under normal circumstances, that little bit of cortisol counterbalances the effect of insulin, type 2 diabetes, a hormone, of course, your pancreas makes to regulate your blood sugar. So cortisol can be a good thing. And if you get out in that sunshine about 30 to 60 minutes after waking, it does a lot of good for you.
So check this out, Mark. That's the 20% I'm talking about. That's also that exciting 20%. So in this place, I should have a cone light that represents the sunlight. So if you're traveling and you're in a hotel room with no windows or whatever, I know you always got good windows, but some don't. And you could have that cone to replicate that sunlight to get what you need. Again, that's caring about that last 20% of what a person may need. That would be, a guy like me, that's my language,
Well, man, you've given us 100% of what we need today, which is opening up your heart and sharing your story and being so vulnerable and honest about it. I appreciate it. I know everybody listening appreciates it. James Perez, CEO of that South Texas swinging Mattress Firm franchise with 13 stores and a bunch of amazing people who are on their own health journeys. And they've got an amazing leader setting a great example. James, thank you so much for being part of the Sleep Summit show.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you, my brother, always.